Oh, I've come to you today, and it's bizarre because it's Beltane. This is my day off. Like, this is the day that I become the green man. I embrace nature and nature. And I wear ponchos and my feathers get provided a lot. It's Beltane, my green man spirit comes through. But no, I'm here. Oh, it's quite funny. The green man spirit I'm talking about on the Green Festival in Peterborough. Has anybody else caught what's happened to the local live music scene in Peterborough because of On the Green Festival? I don't know if you have. Well, I'm here to bring your attention to it. Basically, the long story short is they cancelled all the bands on the Monday that were local bands. There's been issues with discussions between them. It was done really underhandedly. And yeah, let's explore some of this situation together. Oh, and if you haven't heard of the festival before we do, it sounds great. It's literally a nostalgia jump. You've got Sam and the Womp playing. I'm the Gat with the bass and drum. You've got this is big bro taking over show. You have Liberty X. I'm not going to try and sing a Liberty X song because someone will take a clip of that and it will spread across the internet. It'll be in some sort of remix by the end of the week. Let's see who else was on there. The Hoosiers. Yeah, the Hoosiers. I mean, that's gutting. I love the Hoosiers. So, you know, yeah, all these great bands. And then there's a tribute lineup, and there was a local band lineup, and that's what we're here to talk about today. It's that local band lineup that's been let down, and it's usually at this point we see things spiral out of control. So let's keep an eye on what's happening, and let me walk you through what I've seen, and yeah, let's Divergent Justice this situation. Here's what I've been looking at through the videos and get to the really nitty-gritty of what we're talking about here. So this is a gig at the end of May, which is not, no, it's the main bank holidays. It's what, 3 weeks away? Yeah, 3 weeks away. Oh, I think I'm reading this in the wrong order. Hang on, we will Here we go, back to the beginning. Removed from On the Green Festival page for pointing out the unfair treatment of local musicians. This is from an old band friend of mine, actually, before I went off and did Cosmic Llama and started the Unfathomable brand. Like, it was Filthy Contact this is from. So the Monday was for local bands. They were stopped from advertising their slots in favour of organisers wanting to push 3-day tickets. We all did as asked. They've cancelled the Monday as ticket sales were low. At no time were bands asked to promote their own unusual creative ways to boost sales, as they have done for many years. The organiser said they would promote the event. They did, but in a way that a 10-year-old would have. Well, none of the bands were being paid to play, even though the tickets are being sold at quite a high price. So actually, as I've gone through this, I've mentioned already, some bands were, some bands weren't. There's a real weird communication around this. Some were just done for like expenses. Some it's all a bit bizarre. It's a bank holiday and some of the bands turned down gigs, as many venues like to book their bank holidays early. Of course, every venue I know, some of them years in advance. Not years, but at least a year in advance. So my question is, am I being a bit meh, or do I have a valid gripe? I do have a valid gripe. That's why we're here talking about it on Divergent Justice. So this is what we've got so far. The comments are not surprised, neither with the price they were asking. This has all been shared loads, by the way. It's gone quite across the local kind of scape, if you like, the online space of the local area. So, yeah, this is gaining traction. Big hot news. Where's the Telegraph? Not surprisingly with the price they were asking, mate. You've been at it longer than most fellas and seen this kind of thing on other occasions. Yes, as much as it pisses me off, dude, I feel for the few younger bands on the bill. Most of you both know how important a big stage is to a new band. Yeah, I've seen it, mate, and even had to beg for a few free tickets for our partners. Oh, God, in an event like this, you have to beg for a free ticket. That should be, if you're playing for free, things should be comped. Everyone I spoke to said, fuck, I ain't paying that price. I knew it would fail deep down. It's a shame as people, and it does need more of this. It does absolutely need bigger events. I'm not knocking that. I just don't think that bigger events should be ran like this to ruin the local scene. I feel sorry for them, as we know what it feels like. Oh, I zoomed in. They offered us a Saturday or Sunday and we said no, mate. Of course, yes, only 3 slots were offered to them. Pretty much all the bands worth their salt at the gigs booked. And to be honest, we would accept the alternative anyhow. We wouldn't accept the alternative anyhow. It's not the way to treat hard-working local performers. And I completely agree. Don't accept it I don't think anyone should accept those 3 spaces if they're being offered. The way that your local musicians are being treated. It's one of the very best local festivals. Ace on the Hill Festival, it absolutely is one of the best local festivals. And all the bands that seem to happen to be let down, a lot of them are playing East on the Hill. So definitely head over there instead. Not that I'm associated with them at all. It's a really good festival and are really good to local bands. I believe they pay local bands to come and play. Like it's a great festival. I've played it myself in the past. It's even worse. I can imagine doing it as Cosmic Llama now. It'd be a very bizarre experience. And it's even worse when you don't take other offers or requests. Of course, I think everybody who was booked for that Monday is upset because they turned down well-paid gigs. Bank holiday is a moneymaker for every band. If I wasn't at home this time, having some time off, getting ready for my wedding, it's a money maker for Cosmic Llama. I mean, I just started seeing it as an event. Where is it? Yeah, and aware of it. Surely it serves the whole event to promote and sell as many tickets as possible rather than focus on the whole weekend tickets. Yeah, of course. They cancelled the Monday. A lot of people probably decide close to the time whether to attend. I think you should still, if you're going, attend. Like, it's all up to you guys, you know. I'm not going to. I was going to because I really like some of the bands. They're quite nostalgic for me. I have a really good memory of some of the Womps. We'll talk about that in the video. Let's carry on with the comments. You do indeed have a valid point, mate. All too often festivals expect bands to play for nothing. We do our free event once per year. It's an absolute piss take by the festival. In future, I'd recommend all artists and bands go for 2 things, the things that I shout about so often in music business, and it scares everybody off. Don't use contracts. Oh, we can't ask for payment. Yeah, use contracts, ask for payment, agree a method of payment, have a contract. If all else fails, you can go back to the contract. It's just the best for everybody if there's a booking confirmation or contract, agreeing the terms, and, you know, everything's all sorted. For a festival like this, there should be booking confirmations, there should be stage directions. I should have been able to submit at least a stage diagram, if not a tech rider. That's the sort of thing that I'd have to provide at these sorts of festivals. That's kind of what I expect bands to before providing at these sorts of festivals. How has this even managed to happen without confirmations and contracts with cancellation terms? It's bizarre. I don't agree. I'd watch Liberty X. I love Liberty X. I mean, the shit. Maybe, this is where I found out. I read this, you weren't getting paid. They were. So one of the bands says they're getting paid. One of the bands says we're not, unless they've overlooked it. The issue was odds on getting a gig now are slim. I'm playing twice. Look, he's playing for twice. He's got a gig on the Monday. So yeah, they were getting, some bands were getting paid, some bands weren't. I was about to surprise you, but it's gone. Piss take. We pretty much had the slot, but because of their lack of communication, they gave it to another band and blamed us for not getting back to them in no time frame at all. Also, they asked how much we charged, so we assumed it was paid. I tried to dig out the messages, and I can be more accurate. Did we? Yeah, we did zoom in on that. Oh, paid, you say? We definitely had no offer nor inquiries as to money. I'm sorry for your band, dude. You work hard enough. Best out of it. Had a funny feeling from the start. Not just me, then the plot thickens. Same with me, asked how much we charged, gave them an amount that would cover fuel and a few drinks, and just got ignored. Also find it weird how the only info I could find on the organisers were linked back to the Green Party candidates. But that's too much politics for me. I was considering taking my daughter to this, but felt a little off, and the organisers weren't great with my band. But knowing all of this, I'm 100% boycotting it. Yeah, some people should boycott it, or if they decide to. It's a shambles, this is. Brought 3-day tickets. That's a tradition of what I said earlier, but it's everyone's choice what they do with it. It's still good to have a festival in Peterborough, but I'm not sure this is a very good thing for the local scene. Wow, I really hope people are getting refunds for these 3-day tickets. Really hope so. Yeah, completely valid. It's a joke. They have downscaled and then promoted their Sunday lineup with no mention of local bands. And that has what's changed, right? Like, this is the big change I did see myself when I was looking at their media, and I might point it out in another video. But they seem to now be just saying tribute acts, like the UK's best tribute acts, when all the tribute acts, I'm pretty sure, are local tribute acts. Still, some of the UK's best tribute acts. Like, honestly, the tribute scene around here is incredibly good. 3-day price was supposed to include the Monday. So by saying ticket sales for Monday are low, what they're actually saying is ticket sales are so low they can no longer afford to put on the Monday. This whole thing is just worrying. We'll read this pod comment. So, as you may know, On the Green Festival has cancelled the local bands on the bank holiday Monday. Now, I know sometimes things don't always go to plan when organising big or smaller festivals. Of course they don't. I've had it fail to me before. However, all bands that were asked to play were instructed not to advertise their slot on the Monday in favour of the organisers, wanting to push the third day ticket. Fair enough, you may think. All bands did abide by this rule. The organisers did advertise the local bands on what can only be described as a shoddy banner. That's just minutes to Bama, and then proceeds to push the big acts with all these big videos and stuff. At no point when the bands told the ticket sales were low or offered the chance to promote themselves. The first thing you do if ticket sales are low is say to all the bands, promote. That should have been happening months ago. Bear in mind that none of the local acts are being paid to perform. That I found to be untrue now. But yeah, bands for that gig have been booked for months. Of course, it's been booked for months. Things do fail, things do get cancelled, but this, I think the way and the lack of communication is what's caused the problem here. And the fact that all these posts are being deleted. I'm sure mine will be deleted. I commented saying, I seen at another festival, that Eastern on the Hill festival I mentioned, commented stuff and put their post on it, and I said this is probably the better alternative at this point for the local scene. It's wrong on all these levels. This is because someone approved the post. I've worked for music festivals, should have known it wasn't great when they kept misspelling bands' name on promos. It's an absolute joke that it was very poorly organised. They showed their true colours by not giving a chance, removing comments and telling us bands not to advertise the festival, almost like they're ashamed of owning local bands and they aren't paying on the bill. It's incredibly frustrating, the fact that they're covering with the excuse of low ticket sales, despite saying 3-day weekend passes, is absolutely ridiculous. And not giving them the option to help boost sales by advertising of the bands, of course. That would have been the answer. Sorry, band was royally shafted. I hope you guys get it covered. I hope everyone gets it covered. I've seen somebody, I might come up in a second, that there might be another person willing to hold an event on that Monday to get all these bands back in. I've heard nothing but negative things about the way this has been organised, going to the extreme of trying to censor this mess rather than address it properly. Sums it all up. Gabby was asked to ask to be paid and he ghosted us. I ain't finished yet, fella. Bands work hard to get an opportunity. It's a poor show. It is also, it was poorly organised. I feel for the bands who offered their time for free and now cancelled. I'm amazed most of you guys have been in bands for a while, didn't see it coming, of course. It's hard to see it coming, guys. You do this industry with an element of trust constantly. You should trust everybody. The rest doesn't seem to be a thing. We were offered a fee for the Monday and it was booked months ago. Strange others weren't offered a fee and we were told to push the whole event. Sounds like mixed messages. At this point we can't play, but events are struggling selling advance tickets. Of course they are. But I think it's just the communication that's done a thing and everyone's being told different things. Treatment has been really shoddy. I feel you were given your time for free and then so late at being told it's a no. Yeah, I mean, all this is saying the same thing. Here we go, Lime Tree. They're looking at doing an event. And this is another person. So I was looking forward to playing on the Green Festival in Peterborough, but it seems they've cancelled the Monday when local bands are playing, stating it's due to lack of ticket sales, despite selling 3-day weekend tickets. They've been actively deleting comments on the posts by angry bands. The same bands who advertised that they were playing this festival were instructed to take their posts down, us included, and told not to post set times, etc. I've come to learn that several of the local bands playing were not being paid for their time either. I understand there's a lot of costs in music these days, but I just think there's a bitter taste in my mouth from this whole experience. And that's kind of how I feel and why I've done this. Again, some people sharing the same feelings as we've gone through. The more I think about it, the more we discuss it, the more it comes to light how poorly things have been done. Local bands have right to be angry. I think the lack of communication from most of you is what's caused this. And I think that is the absolute thing that we need to focus on. All of these kind of say the same thing. We'll go back to it. They all say the same thing. I think that the key thing here is that there's been a lack of communication. Bands have been cancelled completely out of nowhere. No one's getting paid for their time, and they've turned down other gigs. People have arranged transport, arranged things, because, like, for example, I played some gigs for free. I played Celtic Tribe last weekend, and I did that for free and at a cost. Because, you know, we do these things occasionally for the industry and for things to grow. It's absolutely gutting that this is happening to local bands. I mean, I have questions like, if I was Sam of the Womp, Liberty X, Big Bros who drinking over show. Sorry, I got distracted. I can't remember who else on the bill right now, but if I was any of those, I'd be really questioning my agent right now, saying, is this really firmed up? Have we got a really good contract? Does it include a cancellation fee? I do not want to get shafted. Does it include a clause that regardless of if the place goes into liquidation, that this is a priority bill? Does it have something that, because that's the fear that would be going through my head is, oh, hang on a second, they pulled the Monday as a whole day after selling tickets. There's talks of people not getting refunds, although I'm sure that's going to happen because you wouldn't want to leave that as an event organizer. Is my gig safe? Like, is my performance all sorted? So, I've reached out to a couple of the acts just to say to them as a heads up that this is going on, to check it out on Facebook and stuff. I'm have quite a nice outward inside perspective to this because I used to be part of the scene heavily. I spent 6-7 years heavily inside the Peterborough, Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire, the borders, if you like. Music scene, Leicestershire, and actually quite across the country. That was my daily week, and my weekend was gigging every weekend. So to me, to see this scene let down so hardly, even though I'm no longer a part of it, and I feel like with what I do now, that this is a part to stand up. This is a part to say something. Both as still a performer and a musician, doing other things now in the industry, doing the Cosmic Llama thing, but also mainly from the Divergent Justice part of Unfathomable Creations, my little side spin from Road Divergence or Divergence Ahead. I keep getting shot because it's Divergence Ahead. I just prefer Road Divergence, and it's what's stuck. So it's coming from there. I think this is where the content's going to end up. It's going to be on the Divergent Justice, the same place where the British gas stuff's going on. The reason I'm releasing it now is this is a current issue. Like, if you are currently booked as a tribute act, if you are currently booked as any of the acts that still survived, I'd really be making sure that you guys are solid. And also, it's such a letdown for the industry. The local scenes in every single place survive and thrive on events like this, and it was great. I've been pushing the event myself, not knowing that this was going to be the outcome. It's bizarre that they didn't allow the bands to promote themselves. That'd be the first key thing. It does seem like there's an edge of, if we book all the local bands, that might bring some people, but then they've dropped it. Yeah, I'd really be making sure that my contracts are still tight, for sure. And I hope this doesn't turn into a bigger issue. I hope this doesn't transcend into an issue where people aren't getting paid. But I'd err on the side of caution with this one. So this is why I'm releasing the video now rather than holding it back until everything's sorted with the YouTubes. It's because it's current, and I think people need to act on it or know about it. And also, I won't be supporting the event anymore. Whether they give me a refund or not, I don't really care. This isn't what that's about. I only happened to be going because my old band was playing it, and I was going to be looking forward to seeing them on a big stage. But yeah, it's gutting. This whole situation is gutting. I feel for all the musicians, and it really resonates with me. And I feel so aligned and in solitude with you guys. I'm sorry this has happened. I really hope you all get gigs elsewhere. Yeah. I wanted to do a bit of this video in the studio, and it's definitely not to test out my new lighting rings. But yeah, this is an awful situation to be in. I know if I was part of one of the local bands, I'd be absolutely gutted. I guess the thing is here, if you're going to be a big, put yourself out as a big festival that wants to support local music, then you kind of have to follow through. And we all have issues that come up, but we have to deal with it honestly. And I think that's it. The communication, the honestness to it. There was steps that could have been taken rather than just dropping it weeks ago. And yeah, so that's me. I'm wrapping up. This is me wrapping up, and I definitely didn't do this part of the video for the studio. But this is Divergent Justice, part of Divergence Ahead, part of Unfathomable Creations. So the odd part of this is I'm autistic. Abby's ADHD. We have a very neurodivergent family. As part of neurodivergence in general is this justice warrior trait. There's a need for justice. So this is the platform for the need for justice. This is what we do. We have a whole segment on British Gas coming up. We're just trying to wrap up some little legal bits, and that's coming out to you. Yeah, we're looking forward to this. Absolutely, this is the first. But the only reason we're bringing this out so early, rather than doing it all in editing first, is because this is a hot topic. And let's see how it expands now. Maybe there'll be another 10-minute video. Need to put a little disclaimer at the end of this. I'm not part of any of the bands. For full honesty, I was part of one of the bands. I left about 4 years ago. Maybe 3. But it was a long enough time ago that this isn't why I'm doing these videos. These videos are purely because of our brand Divergent Justice and the fact that this has affected local bands. It has the potential to affect national bands. And being musicians, which is our other core basis at me and Abby, we feel really strongly about it. And that's why this video has come about. I hope you've enjoyed it. And there'll be more content coming soon, especially our British gas story. I can't wait to bring that to you. We've got loads of videos. We just had to wrap a legal issue up first for ourselves. And then we can bring that to you. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how this progresses. It's all part of our Divergence Ahead brand, which is about how we live our lives as we do, earth conscious, pagan friendly, but how we bring that into our family, and how we all work as neurodivergent people, how we address the hive mind and living as in a community kind of context. And yeah, all the interesting stuff that we get up to. I've got loads of videos coming for that. We're just waiting to set the socials up and for me to do some editing. But today is Beltane. I swore I wouldn't touch a computer, but this is such a pressing matter that I felt like I had to. So thank you for watching. And yeah, I will link the socials in the comments at some point. So please feel free to follow us for more.